I've come to believe that our worst qualities, our greatest vices, are in fact the seeds of our most important virtues, our greatest potential, and that we need to learn how to cultivate those seeds and help them mature into what they were meant to be. If you ask someone to do something which is hard for them or very new, they often find an approximation. So let's imagine someone who's not very physical does a yoga posture which involves putting their arms straight over their head like this, but their shoulders aren't flexible enough. They'll often just put their arms as straight as possible, but they'll angle their hands up. And they'll be convinced that their arms are here. They don't realise that they've found a compromise in order to allow them to feel like they've achieved the goal. Likewise, you've probably seen when someone is given a task which is not of their normal nature. Maybe it's something that involves a lot of stamina and meticulous work. They'll change that task to try to use their advantages. So maybe they're very strong and energetic, so they'll try to rush the job really fast so that the job matches their nature, not the other way around. So often our negative expressions are because we're not used to other strategies, and we've got a strategy in life that works really well. Maybe we're very assertive and it works for many things, and being very direct works very well, so maybe that could work in the business environment, but it's not very good for comforting your mourning relative or something. And because we haven't developed these other tools, it's very hard for us to shift. In the worst case, we can see a positive mechanism, like maybe inflammation in the body is normally a very good thing when you get injured, but can get out of control and cause the injury to get worse, or our immune system can make a mistake and we can start attacking ourselves, and then we need treatment. So in the worst case, an aspect of our personality that's trying to do something positive can get confused and can express itself in the wrong way. So this might be someone who really, they want to be genuinely respected. They want people to respect them, they want to set an example, they want to do good for the world by being a good person that people can see doing the right thing. Well, that person might find that very hard, or might not quite understand what that urge is telling them, and they get fixated on getting famous at all costs. Maybe someone who really wants to create a beautiful environment for people. They want to make the world better. They want to make sure that everyone around them is safe and that everything's beautiful. They could get confused and get focused on money above all things. So they're not trying to make a happy environment, they're trying to make a rich and grandiose environment. So we all know examples of that when we meet a businessman who's made a huge amount of money, and you ask him why he's still doing it, and he says it's for my wife and it's for my family, and actually the wife and family are doing okay and could probably do more time from him or some other input. Sometimes the people get very confused because these approximations, these expressions of genuinely positive things are so common that they actually start labelling whole things as negative. So people decide to be celibate rather than have healthy sexual relations. They decide they're going to renounce speaking, and they'll be going to a monastic order where they're silent because people can say negative things. And this is avoidance. So it's exactly the opposite to what we want to do. We actually want to master the thing. We want to look at the seed, find what the genuine urge is, what what we're really trying to do. Be honest. What am I really trying to do? I believe that the mind, the self, whatever you want to call it, is ultimately positive and pure, and that all emotions have a purpose. So if we get the message that we're angry about something, it's time to solve it, but we need to express that correctly. We don't want to be controlled by that signal any more than we want to be controlled by the warning light on our car. But we don't want to cover it up. We don't put a piece of tape over the warning light, or we don't want to ignore an emotion. We all know that if you ignore someone, they tend to shout louder. So when we have a very negative quality, something that we're doing that isn't working, it's best to work with it, to look at what the real purpose is, and to utilise that. And I think with this approach, we gain the greatest benefit. And indeed, I think this may be the only approach that leads to complete integration in the end.